Here we have a dental tool. This is the X Smart IQ cordless endodontic motor. It looks something like this. It's already taken apart, and the customer brought this in because 4 pins broke off the board. Now it's a little bit awkward working on this board because we have to keep it in a vertical position like this, and we have to precisely solder the pins back on the board. I tried to take the board out, and it seems like it's involved because there are connections done from the bottom. So we're gonna keep it the way it is. I'm gonna tilt the board under the microscope at a 45-degree angle so we can see it, and then maybe I'll use the fume extractor, the one that you see here, to hold it from the back so it does not fall down. Right, so let's see. This is an expensive tool, about $1,300. So it's a delicate device, and we have to do this as precise as possible. Okay, so we're gonna tilt the board like this. I'm gonna use the fume extractor to hold that tool, and the microscope okay, let's see, are we and right there. All right, so let me show you what I'm looking at. I have the tool tilted at about 45 degrees, so it's not vertical, it's tilted. And as you can see, we have 4 pads that's supposed to have 4 pins on them. We do have the pins, and the pins are gold plated. Several ways we can do this. We're not going to be using hot air because we do not want to damage any of the plastic around, or we do not want to damage anything on the board. So we're not going to use hot air. We have 2 options. We can use our soldering iron, or we can use our hot tweezers. But I think I'm going to skip on the hot tweezers for now. I do not know how fragile those pins are. They look something like this. Maybe if we grab that pin with a hot tweezer, maybe it's going to change color or it's going to deform. I do not know. So what I'm thinking is we can use our soldering iron. We're going to pre-apply solder on those pads, and we're going to position that pin vertically. And then maybe I'll point the soldering iron tip on the side of the pad. It's going to melt the solder, and solder is going to stick to the pin. Normally this job is not really difficult if we have the board laid down flat on the bench and we're looking at it under a microscope, but it's a little bit awkward dealing with this because the board is tilted at a 45-degree angle. I'm going to apply some flux. Fume extractor on. And we're going to apply a little bit of solder on each pad. Let's go ahead and do it. I cannot rest my wrist on the bench because the tool is a bit high. And right now, if it wasn't for the bent tip, it would be hard to position the tip vertically to apply solder. So a bent tip is most definitely needed in this scenario. Let's grab that pin and attempt to solder the first one. Once we get the hang on how to solder the first one, then the rest should follow. Should be easy. Let's see if we apply our soldering iron right there. Done. The first one is done. All right, so that one is solid. Very nice. We're gonna clean up later. Let's solder the other one. Now what I did to further secure that tool so it does not wobble or fall down is I used blue tack. It's like a Play-Doh. I put some on the bottom here and some on the top here. So that motor or that device is not gonna move. Or it's gonna have as little movement as possible. Okay, and the pin is solid. Let's solder pin number 3. Now for this one we may have to tilt that tool clockwise like this. I mean, it's not a difficult job, but it's awkward. And I really feel like I'm doing a surgery here. Okay. And I feel like this one is a little bit bent. Am I wrong? Because we cannot tell if it's vertical or not. And finally, we're gonna do the bottom one. I do not really know what those pins are for, but they could be pins for the battery. All right, so we did an awesome job. We soldered all 4 pins. Solid, 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 and of course solid. That's clean up. And we have another medical device that came in today. I think it's an X-ray sensor cable. It's damaged, and medical stuff are expensive. In most cases, you cannot replace the part. You have to fix it. Job is done. Whew. I do not know why I felt like this repair was difficult. I mean, literally, I'm working on it like this, and I cannot rest my wrist on the bench, so I'm going like this. And we have to be careful not to touch the flux cable, because the flux cable goes under the board, and we have to make sure not to touch the plastic also. We have a groove here. We did it, the job is done, and we're gonna end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll do something else in the next video. $1,300 saved.